Hey student, watch this video and learn how to use comparatives in English. More than and less than. Coming up. Hey friends, Teacher Prix here to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. Another day, another lesson, because from Monday to Friday, I post different kinds of English lessons to help you become a better and more confident English speaker. So please consider subscribing, because that way you will always know when I come up with a new video, a new lesson. You will always be receiving updates, and you also support the channel. So make sure to subscribe. Anyways, my friends, let's dive into the content, because I always have lots of information to share with you, especially on Tuesdays. So Tuesdays, they are grammar day, okay? So whenever it's a Tuesday, you will be having a grammar lesson. So today I'll be talking to you about comparatives, more and less. I do have other videos here on my channel where I talk about more and less, but I decided to do it again because I see that many of you ask me questions about more and less, so I'll be giving you some important information. I will probably make a part 2 of more and less to give you a little bit more information and other possible uses of more and less. Anyways, comparatives. Well, basically, a comparative form, a comparative is the form of an adjective or adverb that you will use to compare two things or different groups of things. You can compare more things, but in general, you're comparing two objects or things or situations, or a group, different groups of things and situations, okay? So you're comparing one with another. And usually when you do that comparison, it's because you want to say that something has more or less of a particular quality. So let's think of a quality. Quality is usually expressed by adjectives, okay? So let's think of an adjective, beautiful. Well, when you use a comparative, you can indicate a lot or a little, okay? But in a comparative way. So picture 1, picture 2. If I compare picture 1 and picture 2, in terms of beauty, in terms of which one is more or less, that's the structure I'm going to use. So picture A is more beautiful than picture B, or picture B is less beautiful than picture A. So this is a very simple example, but that's usually the goal of comparative. You will make a comparison, you will analyze. This teacher and that teacher. Oh, this teacher is very good. But here I'm just giving a quality. If I compare teacher A and teacher B, then I will need to use the comparative, okay? Now, here are more examples. Jack is definitely more responsible than his brother Jim. Now, what's the idea here? There are two brothers, Jack and Jim. Now I'm going to analyze these two brothers' personality and characteristics. And I want to say that Jack is more responsible than Jim. So this means that Jim is less responsible than Jack. Okay? Do you have a brother or sister? If so, let me know who is more responsible. Are you more responsible, or is your sibling, your brother or sister, more responsible than you? I want to know. I am more responsible than my siblings. I don't know. I honestly don't know that. I think I am, but I don't know. Next, I am more interested in music than art. So I am interested, okay, but more interested in music than arts. I like arts, but music, oh my God, music is amazing. I am more interested in music than arts, okay? Next, sports cars are more popular than SUVs. Just kidding, this is not true. Sports cars, they're popular, but Are they more popular? I think I should have said the opposite. SUVs are more popular than sports cars because SUVs are less expensive than sports cars. Sports cars are more expensive than SUVs. Consequently, I don't think they are as popular as SUVs. Moving on, taking a closer look at comparatives. More than and less than are two very popular comparatives, and they both have an idea. They express an idea. So whenever you use more than, you are giving an idea of superiority. It's good. It's really good. Thumbs up. But whenever you say something is less, thumbs down. Inferiority. Okay? Now, it can be good. For example, my phone is less expensive than your phone. Is that good? Maybe. Maybe yes, maybe no. Gertrudis is saying, I'm more responsible than my twin. Oh, hello, you have a twin? That's awesome. That's great. Anyways, now, as I said, more than represents superiority, less than represents inferiority. So Jack is definitely more responsible than his brother Jim. I am more interested in music than arts. Sport cars are less popular than SUVs. Now, talking a little bit, no, go back. Now, talking a little bit about the structure. You will always use more plus an adjective plus than. More blah blah than. Less blah blah than. When I say blah blah, you need to think of the quality of the adjective you want. More beautiful than, more interesting than, more special than, more expensive than, more dangerous than, less dangerous than, less expensive, less interesting, and so on. Okay, you always have to think about that. Basically, that's how you use it. Now, when I say that's how you use it, this is part of your phrase. I have other videos here on my channel where I talk about how you make phrases. This is one part of the phrase. Maybe you will need verb to be. Verb to be is very popular. If you paid attention at my examples, most of the time I used verb to be. Jack is, I am, sports cars are. So it is very common. For example, this phone is more expensive than this glass. So I'm using verb to be. It is very common, okay? Maybe you can include other phrases in this phrase. I think Rio de Janeiro is more dangerous than São Paulo. I think. But even if you paid attention, I used the verb to be. I think, okay, expressing opinion. I think Rio de Janeiro is more dangerous than São Paulo. So verb to be is very common, but it's not mandatory. It's not part of the structure, but it is a very popular combination, okay? I'm more interested in English than Russian. Absolutely. No offense to my Russian followers, but I think English is easier than Russian. And a little bit more popular too. Sorry about that. Anyways, more than. Now we get down to the nitty-gritty of how to use more than, okay? Depending on the adjective you use, you will not need, actually, you cannot use the word more, okay? So here I have pretty much all the situations when you cannot use more and when you can use more. So for example, take a look at the adjectives, old and cheap. The comparative is older, cheaper, plus than, okay? I didn't type than here, but it is. Why? The spelling will change for whatever adjective that you have that is one syllable, only one syllable, old, one syllable. It's not a very long adjective, it's one syllable. You will need to include ER, older to the adjective. So I am older than my sister. Yeah, I'm older. Oh well. Samsung cell phones are cheaper than iPhones. Okay, than Apple phones. I don't know why, they're good quality too. So whenever you have adjectives that are only one syllable, you cannot use more. Goodbye, more. You will use the adjective plus er plus than. I think my sister is older than your sister. Maybe, maybe not. Hot, fat, the next scenario. Every time you have an adjective ending in vowel plus one consonant, so there's the vowel and after the vowel there's a consonant, and it is a short adjective, usually one syllable adjective, okay? You will double the consonant and add the letters er. So hot ends in consonant plus vowel. So double the T and add the er. Fatter, double the T and add er. This doesn't happen to many adjectives, but it does happen, so pay attention. The next example, usually with one syllable or two syllable adjectives that end in consonant plus the letter Y. YMCA, you know, Y. Whenever you have this, you will say goodbye to the letter Y. You drop the Y, drop the mic. No, drop the Y. And you will add IER. So happy, I am happier than you. So in this case, happy is a two-syllable word, a two-syllable adjective that ends in consonant plus Y. In this case, I drop the Y, yeah, and I add IER. And remember, in this case, the three cases that I have shown you this far do not need the word more, only than. Fatter than, faster than, cheaper than, older than. Okay? Great. Someone says, my sister's shorter than me. Exactly. Very good. My twin is taller than me. Perfect. I love my wife more than anybody else or more than anything. In this case, I would need the word more. I love my wife more than anything, not everything, more than anything. It's a different kind of comparison, okay? It is possible to do that, but it's a different kind of structure. It's not the structure I'm showing tonight, but it's possible. So I love my wife more than anything. Okay, next, intelligent, expensive. This is when we use more. With two or more syllable adjectives, we need to use the word more, the adjective, and then the word than. I am more beautiful than my teacher. I am more I am more interested in TV series than movies. This is true. I actually prefer movies than sorry, I actually prefer movies to TV. I actually prefer TV series to movies. Am I lying to myself? Is my brain playing tricks on me? No, I really prefer TV series. So with adjectives that are two or more syllables, you will need to use more, okay? But teacher Prix, I don't know how to count the syllables. I never learned to do this. I get it. Not many people learn to do this. It's actually a little bit difficult because it's not about the number of letters, but it's about the number of sounds. Consequently, many English learners do not learn that. So if you are studying and you don't know, you are not sure whether that word is a long adjective, more than two syllables or not, I recommend you go to Google, my friend, and you type the adjective you want to know plus the word comparative. So let's say dry. I go to Google and I type dry, the symbol of plus, then comparative form. Google should give the answer to you. You're welcome. Well, I'm not joking, okay? This is actually serious. Of course, I need water. Of course, you can't do that during a conversation, but if you are studying and you want to find out whether that word is a 2-syllable, 3-syllable, is a long word, then Googling is a very good solution, okay? I need water again. Okay, next, irregular cases, good, far, bad. These are 3 cases that are completely irregular. I don't really have an explanation to give you as I give in 1 syllable, 1 or 2 syllable with a letter Y. No, they are irregular. So good, the comparative form of good is better. So my English is better than my Italian. Well, of course, because I'm a basic student, a basic Italian student. So consequently, my English is better than my Italian. My Italian is worse than my Portuguese. I am fluent in Portuguese because I'm a native speaker of Portuguese, but my Portuguese is not so good. But my Italian is worse. Far has 2 irregular form options, farther or further. Teacher, are there more cases of irregular words? Not that I know, okay? These are all the words that the books give. Now, if there are more, I don't know it, okay? Excellent. Now, as I said, with short adjectives, you cannot use the word more. You change the adjective, as I showed you here, you change it, but you do not use the word more. English is easier than math. The weather in São Paulo is colder than in Rio. James is definitely healthier now than 10 years ago. Okay, so you do not use more with short adjectives. Now, less than. The good news about less than is that there are not many rules, okay? Basically, you can only use less than with long adjectives, 2 or more syllables. Therefore, you cannot say less bad, less nice, less great. You do not do, because less hard. Oh my God, no. Because you cannot use less with short adjectives. You can only use less with long adjectives. Hence, it's easier, okay? That's why it's easier to use less than, because you only use less with long adjectives, okay? There are no other rules with less, okay? And hey, if you're enjoying the lesson, make sure to hit the like button. This really helps me understand what kind of lessons are helpful, what kind of lessons you enjoy the most, and it also helps YouTube understand that this is a good lesson. And when YouTube understands that, it shares and recommends my lessons to other people like you, okay? Anyways, moving on. Teacher, do I always need to use the word then? Every time I make a comparison, do I always need to use then? It depends, okay? Depending on the conversation and on the sentence you make, you may not need to use the word then, because I understand, I imply, I understand in my brain that that's what you're going to say. For example, the example will make this clear for you. I think you should get a warmer jacket. It's -10 outside. So when I say a warmer, I don't need to say a warmer jacket than the jacket that you have, because that's the idea. So let's imagine a situation. I'm going out, I get a jacket, and then my mother looks at me and says, Priscilla, it's very cold. You need a warmer jacket. I don't need to finish the phrase. You need a warmer jacket than the jacket you have. I don't need to do it. I don't need to finish. So this is very common. And in these situations, you don't need to finish the comparison. Oh, you need a better job. I know that you need a better job than the job you have now. So I don't need to say that. You need to have a better job than your current job. I don't need to say this, because I can imply, I can infer, I can understand from the context. That's the idea. Okay, so this is why I'm telling you that depending on the phrase you make, you don't need to use then, because it's not necessary to finish the comparison. Okay, now if you are comparing to in more basic phrases, you absolutely need then. This is not such a basic phrase anymore. You are including a comparison in a more casual not casual conversation, but in a more realistic conversation where you make phrases non-stop. So this is a kind of very common comparison, and the students, they see this, they get confused. So this is definitely something that I explain in like for pre-intermediate students and intermediate students. More basic students, they stop here. If you're not such a basic student anymore, this will help you, okay? Now, let's practice. Do I need to always use less and then in this case? Well, you will use more and less if the adjectives are long, okay? If the adjectives are long, then yes, you have the more is mandatory. In this case, I didn't use more and less because the adjective is short. But let's imagine that I'm using a long adjective. You need to get a more comfortable jacket. Then I need to use more because it's a short adjective. It's a long adjective. Then I have to. Otherwise, I will not understand the phrase. So if it's a long adjective, then you have to use more and less. But then, in this case, may not be necessary. Depends on the phrase you're making, okay? Now, let's practice. The video is almost over, so I want you to come back here in the comments. Choose 5 adjectives from the list. Here I have nice, interesting, good, bad, far, small, dangerous, important, and famous. Come back in the comments, choose 5 adjectives, and write an example with each word, okay? With each adjective you have chosen, okay? Other than that, my friends, I have a question for you. Which is better, traveling to the beach or to the mountains? Let me know here in the comments. Other than that, my friends, please share this lesson if you found it useful. Other than that, have a lovely day or a lovely night, and I will see you tomorrow for another English lesson. Bye-bye.